Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Nidhinamine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Vaschadya Tishatarine Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Dinta Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Jaya Gaura Nitai Jaya Gaura Nitai Gaura Nitai Jaya Gaura Nitai Nitai Sachishundara Nitai Sachishundara Nitai Sachishundara Jaya Nitai Sachishundara Giri Govardhan Giri Govardhan Giri Govardhan Jaya Giri Govardhan Jaya Giri Govardhan Jaya Giri Govardhan Giri Govardhan Jaya Giri Govardhan Jai Prabhupada 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 Jaya Prabhupada Jai Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jai Prabhupada Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Amit
Yada Bhutta Pratang Bhavam Pritak Bhavam Ekatyam Anyap Anupyasati Anupashyati Tata Iva Che
Che? Not Che.
Cha.
Cha.
Cha, yeah. Iva Cha Vistaram Brahma Sampadyat Sampadyate Tada.
Tada. Amrita Radhe Mataji, thank you. Hare Krishna. Welcome.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.
Dandavat Pranam. Is your Prabhu back?
Yes, Prabhu, he's back.
Oh.
Yeah, he'll probably join in sometime.
Yes, he could tell us a little bit about Paniyati, couldn't he?
Yeah, sure. He'll join in a few minutes, maybe. Hare Krishna.
Okay, Amit, you want to read us a translation of that verse?
When a sensible man ceases to see different identities due to different material bodies, and he sees how beings are expanded everywhere, he attains to the Brahman conception.
And the purport as well?
When one can see that the various bodies of living entities arise due to the different desires of the individual soul and do not actually belong to the soul itself, one actually sees. In the material conception of life, we find someone a demigod, someone a human being, a dog, a cat, etc. This is material vision, not actual vision. This material differentiation is due to material conception of life. After the destruction of the material body, the spirit soul is one. The spirit soul, due to contact with material nature, gets different types of body. When one can see this, he attains spiritual vision. Thus, being free from differentiations like man, animal, big, low, etc., one becomes purified in his consciousness and able to develop Krishna consciousness in his spiritual identity. How we then see things will be explained in the next verse.
Okay, nice. Amaginatimirandasya gananshana shalakaya Chakshuranmilitam yena tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manopishtam Stapitam yena bhutale Swayam Rupakatamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yudapadakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sakrachatam Sahagana Raghunatanvitam Tam Sajivam Satvaitam Savatutam Parichana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shivishakhanvitamscha E Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagadapate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusutta Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpatarupyascha Kripa Sindhupya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shiva Sati Gaura Bhaktarinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. That is in Bhagavad Gītā 13:31. This translation again. When a sensible man ceases to see different identities due to different material bodies, and he sees how beings are expanded everywhere, he attains to the Brahman conception. Oh, Rituan Prabhuji, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
It's so nice to see you again. When did you come back?
Saturday.
Wow.
Or Sunday. Yeah, Saturday night. Late at night.
You had a nice time?
Yes, Prabhuji. I had a nice time there. Brought my mother here for a few months.
Yes.
Went to Panihati.
And you went to Panihati?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Tell us something. 5 minutes or something about Panihati, about your pilgrimage.
Yeah, Prabhuji. We went to Panihati. It's not very far from where we stay, where we lived, basically. Okay. 1.5 hours, that would say. So we started early, otherwise it becomes very congested, the roads. It's away from the city. So we went to the holy dham. We got darshan of the temple and the beautiful tree under which Lord Nityananda was sitting.
Hare Krishna.
And this is the place. This is a very auspicious place, a transcendental dham, where Nityananda Prabhu bestowed his mercy upon Raghunath Das Goswami, and he started the Chiradadi Mahotsava, the festival of the Chiradadi festival. So it was a beautiful place. And the other thing is that the Ganges, the Mother Ganga, flows just by the side of this beautiful tree. And our ISKCON temple is also exactly by the side of Mother Ganges, and I had the great privilege and opportunity to take bath there, chant one round by when I was standing within the waters of Mother Ganges. So it was really nice. We had all wonderful prasadam. We saw we met devotees there who were known to us from many years back. So they were also very happy to see us. And we also went to Raghav Bhavan. So Raghav Pandit was one of Mahaprabhu's very intimate associates, and there is a place there is a replica of what Raghav Pandit used to carry to Mahaprabhu during his journey from.
Interrupt you here? Raga Pandit or Raghava Pandit?
Actually, it's in English it's called Raghava Pandit, but in Bengali it's called Raghav Pandit.
Okay.
Not the A. Yeah.
Okay.
So Raghav Pandit. So Raghav Pandit and his sister Damayanti Devi. So they were like very intimate and great devotees and associates of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And every year when all the devotees from Bengal used to travel by road, by walking basically, all the way from Bengal to Jagannath Puri to have darshan of Lord Gauranga and Jagannath Subhadra Baladev Sudarshan ji. And they used to spend around 4 months there. So the journey alone took 1 month. And Raghav Pandit used to carry all the items which his sister Damayanti Devi used to prepare for Lord Chaitanya, and that is, and he used to carry it in different baskets, and in Bengali baskets means jhali, so it's called Raghaver jhali, the baskets of Raghav Pandit. So Damayanti Devi, with lots and lots of love and devotion, used to cook these, specifically thinking what are the needs of Lord Gauranga. So she used to cook various items which were like dry items and can stay for a long time. So there were like different items, and all of these different items are also mentioned in Chaitanya Charitamrita. And there's a replica of what some of the items which which Damayanti Devi used to prepare, like moa. Moa is like balls made of puffed rice. Moa made up of different types of moas. Moas are like sweet balls made up of these things. Different types of pickles. She used to also prepare certain what we call mukshuddhis, means mouth fresheners, and also there were certain bitter items which she used to cook, thinking that after eating all these wonderful rich prasadam, in the sense very rich in not only just taste but also quite heavy items, Lord Gauranga might develop indigestion, and she used to prepare small like what we call golis, means like small tablets mixed with Ganga Mati, that means earth taken from the bed of Mother Ganges. She used to refine it and form the powder, and with some herbs and other things mixed with some herbs, she used to make some small round tablets. So these were like tablets for indigestion. If Lord Gauranga would have indigestion after eating all these bhogas, then he could take all these things. So these were like known as Raghava jhali, baskets of Raghava. And Raghav Pandit used to take all these items together and walk all the way from Bengal, from Banihati to Jagannath Puri. So it was a nice place, very very auspicious place, and there were like deities of Gaur Nitai, Radha Krishna, and also there's a place where Raghav Pandit's samadhi is there. Samadhi of Raghav Pandit is there. There's also a small temple there where there's a deity or idol of Raghav Pandit, and he used to teach. And there's also a diorama where it shows that Raghav Pandit is sitting, and in front of them his students are there. So it's a nice place, very nice place.
Beautiful. Thank you. Was it the first time you have been there?
No, Prabhu, as because it was quite near to our place. So this maybe 4 or 5 times I've been there previously. So
What's
Yeah.
his sister's name again?
Damayanti Devi.
Damayanti.
Damayanti, yeah.
Yes. Okay, beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing that with us.
Hare
And
Krishna.
what was two preparations Raghunadas Goswami had prepared?
The Chiradati Mahotsava, that was the festival.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, it is also described that they were like, it's a mixture of chira, that means, a form of puffed rice, which is flat rice, basically puffed but flat rice,
chipped
chira,
rice,
chips,
they say.
chipped rice, yeah. And the he beans yogurt. So
chipped
it is
rice with
described
yogurt. That was one. What
chipped
was the
rice
other?
with yogurt, and the other one was chipped rice with milk, and along with that there was sugar, different types of seasonal fruits, specifically mangoes. So all these things were like mixed together, and these wonderful pots of chipped rice and milk and chipped rice and yogurt.
Well,
They were
Chaitanya
prepared.
Charitamrita describes the second preparation was chipped rice with condensed milk.
Condensed milk, yeah.
Yes. And
Kheer.
everybody got 2 pots,
Yeah.
at least.
2 pots.
And then, yes, there were so many people coming to festival. All the sellers came, banana sellers and this and that. Yes.
Yeah. And also, like it's described that at the when during that festival, when the devotees were honoring the prasad, Lord Nityananda Prabhu could see that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who was physically not there, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was physically in Jagannath Puri. He came, he just manifested himself there. Nityananda Prabhu could see, and very few of the very intimate associates could see. Some other devotees were not able to see, but they could smell the fragrance of the flower, of a non-seasonal flower, because that was summer month, and during that season those flowers usually don't bloom. And Guru Maharaj, His Holiness Jayapataka Swami, was saying that actually these were flowers from South India, so they were not usually available in Bengal. So they could smell those, amazing fragrance of those unknown flowers there.
From Puri, right?
Yeah. He was there. I mean, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was there in Puri at that time.
And the flowers were from Puri.
I heard one in one lecture. Actually, those flowers were like specifically they bloom in South India.
Okay.
So I mean it was new to me, but I heard it from one of His Holiness Jayapataka Swami Maharaj's lectures. So basically, that flower was not from Bengal, but they could smell it, and Nityananda Prabhu explained that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has come and he is wearing that specific flower garland, and that's why the devotees were able to smell that fragrance of that flower.
How beautiful is that? And of course, maybe to mention, because you said you took a bath in the Ganga, which is just around the corner. It's described in Chaitanya Charitamrita. There were so many devotees who partook in that festival that some had to stand on the bank of the Ganga, and some were standing waist deep in the Ganga and respecting the prasadam. 2 pots of chipped rice with yogurt and chipped rice with condensed milk. So you took bath at that very spot. You got the mercy of all those Vaishnavas. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Is there still that platform where Lord Nityananda was sitting?
Yeah, I mean there is that tree still there. I'm not sure whether it's exactly that tree or that tree had basically passed away and there's another tree there, but that spot is there. It's it has been made into a sitting place with cement and other things, bricks, cement. So it's like guarded that area. You can go there in front of it and touch that tree also, but that place is still there.
Hare Krishna. Okay, thank you very much. So tonight I just read that translation again. When a sensible man, there are not so many sensible people, ceases to see different identities due to different material bodies. And he sees how beings are expanded everywhere. He attains to the Brahman conception. So a few words on the verse itself before we go to the purport. A sensible man. Yes, a sensible man can see or see the spiritual identities of the people. A not sensible man, he just sees different bodies, different identities due to different material bodies. This is a dog, this is a cat, this is an Indian, this is an English person, this is a low class, this is a high class. There's so many different identities. That is not a sensible man. That is a vision of ignorance. So a sensible man with a spiritual vision, he can see that, as Lord Krishna says, how beings are expanded everywhere. And beings are expanded everywhere. Every square inch had innumerable, almost thousands of living entities. May it be germs, may it be insects, or what to speak of in the earth, bacteria, and so they're living entities. They're all living entities. They're everywhere throughout the universe. Innumerable living entities in different species. 8,400,000 different species of life. And the 8 million are animal, plant kingdom, and the 400,000 are human beings. And amongst the human beings are also different grades of human beings, and different races, and different ethnic people, and different cultured and uncultured people, and all of that. So someone who has the Brahman Vision. Brahman, of course, we know. Krishna has basically 3 types of categories of energies. The Brahman energy is the effulgence of the Lord emanating from his toenails. That's a Brahman effulgence. And someone who has develops his Brahman vision, he can see living entities everywhere. And he can see that Brahman effulgence as well. Oh, many times we mentioned Śrīla Prabhupāda's story where he walked up the stairs in the temple with that Indian gentleman, and that Indian gentleman said, "What a beautiful sunshine it was today." And Śrīla Prabhupada turned to him and said, "Yes, Krishna's sunshine." Then he said, "What beautiful nature we walked through." "Yes, Krishna's nature." And then Śrīla Prabhupada said, "And everything is shining." The Brahman is shining, effulgence. "Can you see?" And the Indian gentleman said, "No, I cannot see her." Because you have this Brahman vision where we can see the Lord's effulgence everywhere. That's not ordinary. That is a spiritual vision. And then he turned to Mula Prakriti Mataji standing in the corner. "Can you see?" And she said, "No, Śrīla Prabhupada, I cannot see." And then he said, "I want you to see." Śrīla Prabhupada wants us to have this Brahman vision, where we can see that spiritual effulgence in every and anything. And that is there, that spiritual effulgence. Because Krishna is even in his Vishnu Murti in every single atom, shining. Shining. Everything is shining. So that's a Brahman conception. That's a first stage after the materialistic conception, where one sees different identities and different bodies, and animal body and plant body and human body, and differences all in That is a material vision, where most people succumb to this material vision. Anyone who is a bit more developed, he has a Brahman vision. He knows there are not different identities, but the Brahman conception that we are all Brahman. Bhagavatam says, Atato Brahma Jigyasa. Now it's time to inquire about the Brahman. We have to understand we are Brahman. We are not identity of our national identity, and not even gender identity, and all these different identities. We are Brahman. That's the first step in self-realization. The next step is the yogic understanding, Paramatma understanding. And the yogi is meditating on the Super Soul, Vishnu Murti, in the heart. That's more advanced, yogic understanding, meditating on Paramatma. There is form. Brahman is indifferentiated. There is the spiritual energy, there is no form. It's impersonal. It's Krishna's energy, yes, of course. Krishna is multiple energies. The Brahman, and his internal energy, his external energy, and the Tashtha Shakti, the living entities. So many different energies Krishna has. So then from that Paramatma vision of the yogis, if they are advanced, they can see, they meditate on that Vishnu Murti in the heart of all living entities, and everywhere that Vishnu Murti, four-handed Vishnu form, is everywhere, because that's a super soul in every single atom and in the heart of every, even the tiniest, smallest insect. And above that, if one advances more, he gets the full spiritual understanding of Bhagavan, the Lord Krishna with all his opulences. That is Bhagavan vision. That's the highest, that's the last word in self-realization. Of course, from there it goes further, how to connect with Bhagavan, with Krishna, and we'll speak a little bit later, because there's a beautiful sentence at the end of the purport. So that's important, to have these three stages. It's also Krishna's vision, the Brahman vision, and the Paramatma vision, also Krishna's, all Krishna. But one is partial. So Brahman vision is a partial understanding of the absolute truth. The Paramatma vision is a bit more advanced, but still partial. The yogi who understands the Paramatma, he also realizes a Brahman, included. And the Bhagavan vision is complete. And someone with that status and level of realization, he understands the Paramatma and understanding, and the Brahman also included. Like the Russian dolls, we mentioned that before. There are these wooden dolls, nicely colorful painted, and you open it, and there's another doll inside. And you open that one, there's another doll, smaller. So included in the Bhagavan realization is the smaller doll of Paramatma understanding and the smaller one of Brahman understanding. Unfortunately, some who have that Brahman vision, which is not ordinary, it's quite an advanced stage, but not the full picture. They think Brahman conception, that's the highest conception. And the yogis also think, oh, Paramatma, that's the highest conception. But it's not. Bhagavan, that's the highest conception. And Śrīla Prabhupāda gives that example of in the West, in the Wild West, when the first settlers, they built railway into the native country. And nobody ever had seen a railway. There were a little town with the cowboys and all of that. A little town, and the rail line has been built, but nobody has ever seen a train. And there was the word going around, a train will come tomorrow at 9 o'clock. So everybody was interested. So all flocked to the train station. We want to know how a train looks like. We have heard something about it, but we have never seen. So then the train comes from far away, and these trains in the west, Wild West, they had 3 lights. 1 on top and 2 on the bottom. Bright lights. And some people, they saw the lights and they said, oh, I know now. What's a train? I understand. It's a light. These are those who have realized, who have Brahman Vision. It's a light. I've realized the light. And these people going home and other family members asking, how is it a train? Oh, I'll tell you, it's just a big light, a strong light. So that's obviously a partial understanding. It's not the full picture. Those who stay a little bit longer to wait for the train to come into the station, they, after the light, they see some shape. Oh, it's not just light, there is some shape, some black shape. Not quite clear yet, but there's some shape to it. That is Paramatma vision. There's a shape. What is that shape? The Vishnu Murti. Krishna's Vishnu's four-handed form in the heart of all living entities. They go home when they're being questioned, well, how is a train? What is it? Oh, there is some light and there is some shape. They understand that? Light and shape, both aspects, they realize. But it's not the full picture either. It's a partial realization. Only those who stay at the station until the train comes in the station, they not only see the light, they not only see the shape of the train, there are so many activities, people coming out of the train, other people going in the train. There is luggage, suitcases to be put on the train, and so much life and chatting and all kind of things is going on. That is a full picture of the spiritual world. That is Bhagavan realization. In the spiritual world is not just all light. Yes, in the Sayujya Mukti, in the Brahmacharya, it's all light, eternity and light. In the Paramatma realization, there is knowledge. Knowledge is there, knowledge through the heart, and seeing that Vishnu Murti. So that's a more detailed understanding. But once we come into the Bhagavan understanding, then that's a full picture. There is Brahman, there is Paramatma, and Bhagavan is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And we should be very careful, as some impersonalists or Mayavadis, they say these are all Krishna, all the pastimes of Krishna, all the Bhagavatam about Krishna, these are all inventions of the mind. As if Vyasadeva, the great authority of Vedic knowledge, the great sage, as if he just wrote some fairy tales when he composed the Vedas, when he wrote down the Vedas. Of course not. It's not fairy tales, but the Mayavadi, they will argue these are all forms of Maya of this material world, because they cannot understand spiritual form. Any forms that take it from the bodily concept of life, so form must be like we see form in this material world. And when Krishna comes in his human-like form, they think he's an ordinary human being, because we have our form of 2 hands, 2 legs, and so on. And Krishna will see also he has 2 hands, 2 legs, so he must be one of us. an ordinary human being. So they're called Mayavadi because they think all the descriptions of Krishna, this is all fantasies of the mind. It's all Maya. Only Brahman is real. But that is not the case. And very often say, the Mayavadis, they're quoting Shankaracharya. Shankaracharya, of course, he was an incarnation of Lord Shiva. For a particular purpose, that's very important. For a particular purpose. Shankaracharya, before him, was Lord Buddha. And Lord Buddha came with a particular mission to catch the atheists, to attract the atheists, to give them a way to connect with Krishna, because they were just escaping. No mercy on the atheists. So, twofold. Also at the time of Lord Buddha's, before Lord Buddha's appearance, people were enjoying meat eating, animal slaughter, on the strength of Vedic sacrifices. There are some Vedic sacrifices which are forbidden in that age of Kali, because there are no qualified priests and brahmanas anymore. So no animal sacrifices in this age of Kali. The sacrifice for this age of Kali is Harinama, Harinama, Harinamaiva eva kevalam kala nasteva 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 gatir anyadaha. Chanting of the holy name of Krishna. There is no other way in this age of Kali. That's a yajna. That's a sacrifice, not animal sacrifice. But at that time, people in general, quite very common, they knew these Vedic yajnas, but they didn't perform those Vedic animal sacrifices which were only meant to test the power of the mantra. Because if the mantras were chanted properly, then the animal which has been sacrificed arose from the fire in a useful body. That's a power of mantra. In a useful new body, that animal appeared out of the fire. So that was to test, not to eat the meat, to enjoy the meat. Not at all. That was there to test the mantra. But the people, as everything degenerates in due course of time, they, on the pretend of doing these Vedic sacrifices, they just wanted to satisfy their palate. They wanted to just eat the meat, the taste of the meat. So society has degenerated at that time. And the poor animals were slaughtered en masse, in great numbers. So Lord Buddha, when he came, he had compassion towards the animals. And then ahimsa was born, ahimsa, non-violence. So Lord Buddha preached non-violence. But because people quoted the Vedic yajnas and sacrifices, so Lord Buddha had to do something more. He said, don't follow the Vedas. He denied the Vedas in order to get people away from the Vedas. No more Vedic sacrifices. Just follow me. There is no God. Just follow me. But Lord Buddha is God. He's an incarnation of the Lord. So he cheated the atheists. They were very happy. Oh, I like this philosophy. There is no God. Yeah, I always thought that. So we don't have to be worshipping God or being concerned if we do some sinful acts or pious acts. There is no one to look over us. We are free to do whatever our whimsical mind wants to do. So they liked it. The atheists liked it. There's no God. Yes. Follow me, Lord Buddha said. Reject the Vedas. No more Vedas. No more God. Just follow me. But he was God. So Śrīla Prabhupāda explained. That is cheating. Lord Buddha cheated the atheists. Because by following him, they're following God without knowing. And they get purified. So that is one aspect. And the other aspect is to get... well, after Lord Buddha came Shankaracharya. And he wanted to reintroduce the Vedas. But it had to be done step by step. So he brought up the impersonal conception. Everything is impersonal. There is the absolute truth. There is God. And the Vedas, yes, he reaffirmed. He said, no, you follow the Vedas. Follow the Vedas. But you are God. I am God. Everyone is God. That is a Mayavada understanding. And the Mayavada sannyasis, they address each other, Om Namo Narayanaya. It's like saying, good morning, Narayan. Because they see everyone as Narayan. No, here. So how many Narayans we have here tonight? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Narayans. Om Namo Narayan, Amit, Om Namo Narayan, Rituan Prabhu, and so on. They're all Narayan, because everybody is God. They couldn't say, I am God. Only I am God. That was a little bit too much to say I am God. Because that's the last snare of the living entities. They're climbing up. They want to be this and that. Coming up to, I want to be president, I want to be king. What after? I want to be king. What's the next? Oh, I want to be God. So it's a little bit too much to say, I am God. Of course, we have also persons that are saying, I am God. Particularly in India, not only, I am God. And any Mayavadi will say that, I am God. But the Mayavadi is a little bit more clever. They don't say, I am God and no one else is God. Only I am God. They say, no, everyone is God. You are God. I am God. So then they attain their desired, cherished goal, I am God. If everybody is God, so I am also God. So I am God. So that is the Mayavada conception. A very dangerous philosophy. Lord Chaitanya said, one should rather live in a cage with a tiger than hearing this Mayavada philosophy. So we should keep away from that. It will contaminate our mind in a big way. Interpreting. That was Shankaracharya, but Shankaracharya, those followers of Mayavadis, followers of Shankaracharya, they are quoting him, and Shankaracharya, yes, Stati Vedanta. But at the end of his life, and Shankaracharya, of course, is an empowered personality. He is not at fault. He's a great personality, Lord Shiva, incarnation of Lord Shiva. But his followers, they are at fault. Because Shankaracharya at the end, or towards the end of his life, he composed a beautiful poem, Bhaja Govindam, Mudamate. Basically he's saying, you are fools and rascals. Your grammatical word chucklery will not save you at the time of death. It will not save you when the hour comes. You leave your body. What will save you? Bhaja Govindam. Just worship Krishna, worship Govinda. So full circle. Worship Govinda, worship Govinda. But that, the impersonalists or Mayavadis say don't really understand that. Whatever someone says later on is always superior to earlier statements. So Shankaracharya said, worship Govinda, worship Krishna, not the impersonal Brahman. Worship Krishna. Then after Shankaracharya, of course, came Lord Chaitanya, who introduced his Achintya Abheda Bheda Tattva, because Shankaracharya and his philosophy is Advaitavada, oneness, only oneness. Everything is one. There is no differentiation. Everything is Brahman. If we understand everything is Brahman, we think everything is one. Yes, in the Brahmajyoti everything is one. But that's only a very partial understanding. So Lord Chaitanya came. Yes, everything is one, but everything is different also simultaneously. Simultaneously one and different. It's the highest philosophical understanding. Like Śrīla Prabhupāda gives an example of the sun. The sunshine comes into our room. And we say the sun has come here, but the sun hasn't come here. It's the sunshine. So in one sense, the sun and the sunshine are the same, because the sunshine is light and is warm. So we can say the sun has come. But actually the sun and the sunshine are also different at the same time, because the sun is millions of miles away and the sunshine is just emanating from the sun. So one and simultaneously different. Achintya, inconceivable almost. So it's a philosophical development from duality to monistic philosophy to oneness and difference at the same time. So that was just a few words to the Brahman conception. Let's look at that purport of Śrīla Prabhupāda. I want to start with the end. Start with the end. Śrīla Prabhupāda writes a beautiful sentence. When one can see this, before that, the spirit soul, due to contact with material nature, gets different types of bodies. Yes, that we know. That is granted. When one can see this, he attains spiritual vision. So, anyone who can understand, we're getting different material bodies according to our karma. In this lifetime, one type of body is the next lifetime a different kind of body, according to our desires, because we're creating our bodies in this at the moment. Every moment we're creating our next body. It seems to be almost like inevitable that we take another birth. And it is, if we don't become fully Krishna conscious. If we have material desires, they're unfulfilled in this lifetime, and still we have material desires at the time of death. These are all impressions and samskaras in the mind. Then we be forced to come back to fulfill those material desires. Material desires need to be fulfilled because there are desires we want. I want to enjoy like this, I want to enjoy like that. Okay, you didn't have much a chance in this lifetime. Okay, you will get another body where you can fulfill your material desires. And at the same time, we're creating new desires, and it's going on and on and on, life after life after life. We are entangled in this material, karma-creating sphere of material life, enjoying the results of our karma and simultaneously creating more karma. So how to get out of this? Krishna consciousness. Because anyone who's developing Krishna consciousness, he is not His goal of life is not to enjoy the fruits of his activities, the results of his activities, but he dedicates his activities to Krishna, to whatever degree, more and more and more. And if we dedicate our activities to Krishna, for Krishna's pleasure, not for our sense enjoyment, then there is no, that's called bhakti, Krishna consciousness. And there are no reactions for spiritual activities. Or we may think that spiritual activities are only puja and worship in the temple. And no, spiritual activities means we have a spiritual vision in everything we do, 24/7. That we have to develop, the spiritual vision. Here this verse gives a few hints to see that these material bodies are due to our material entanglement and identification, false identification. So spiritual vision means we see the equality of all living entities. Everyone is Brahman, resting on that Brahman, receiving different material bodies. So by the power of Krishna consciousness, we can get out of this samsara davana dalita loka, of that samsara, that wheel of samsara, of birth and rebirth and death and birth and death and birth and death. If anyone wants to come out of that, then he has to take to Krishna consciousness under the guidance of a bona fide spiritual master. So here Śrīla Prabhupāda writes, the spirit soul, due to contact with material nature, gets different types of bodies. When one can see this, he attains spiritual vision. Thus, being freed from differentiations like man, animal, big, low, etc., one becomes purified in his consciousness and able to develop Krishna consciousness in his spiritual identity. So that is that second last sentence. Becomes purified. Yes, Krishna consciousness is a purificatory process. One becomes purified. The consciousness becomes purified. And one is able to develop Krishna consciousness in his spiritual identity. So what is that spiritual identity? We all have a spiritual identity, but we don't know our spiritual identity. We may know we are not English and American and Russian and Indian. We are not Hindu, we are not Christian. We are not. That we may understand that, at least theoretically. But what are we? That's a different story. And then we coming into the realm of Raga Bhakti or Raga Nuga Bhakti, where we can, which is actually, that's a real Bhakti. There's a whole chapter 4 of Adi Lila, Lord Chaitanya's confidential reasons for appearing. It's all about Raga Nuga Bhakti. And Śrīla Prabhupāda wants the devotees to come to that stage in due course of time. Not artificially, but if the purification is sufficient, then we'll be drawn towards Raga Bhakti, which translates spontaneous devotional service. And in that spontaneous devotional service, we will discover eventually our spiritual identity. We have spoken on that point last session. So what's our spiritual identity? It can be manifold. We could be in a neutral relationship with Krishna, and Krishna means Vrindavan Krishna. That is Krishna. Not Krishna in Vaikuntha, that's not Krishna, that's Vishnu. If we want to relate to Krishna, then that means Vrindavan. So we could be in a neutral relationship, like the trees, like the rocks, the creepers, animals. So in a neutral relationship with Krishna, everything is alive there. Everything is shining. Or we could be in a master-servant, dasya, in a dasya relationship with Krishna. We could be also. Or we could be in a sakhya relationship, friends, equal. Krishna, you and me are equal. When the cowherd boys, the sakhas, sometimes defeat Krishna in wrestling or in games. They're playing games all day long. Oh, what kind of life is that? Playing games all day long. No job, no work, driving here, driving there, shopping here, shopping there. No, all day long games and refreshing, bathing in the lakes, and so many innumerable games they're playing all day long. Sometimes they're defeating Krishna. Means Krishna lets himself be defeated. He enjoys that. Just like the father sometimes plays with his young son, and the young son sitting on top of the father and shouting, "I defeated you. You finish now. You see, I'm sitting on you. And you are defeated." So the father enjoys that greatly. His young child sitting on him and thinks he has defeated the father. And the father is happily to be defeated. So Krishna is happy to be defeated by his loving sakhas, cowherd boys. And then they say, you see, what? You big man, we are equal. They feel like that. They're equal. Equal in status. Of course, Krishna does sometimes some very special things of killing demons, but basically they're equal. Sometimes Krishna, when he loses a game, he has to carry the cowherd boys on his shoulder. So winner sitting on the shoulder of Krishna. So that is the Sakhya Ras. And then we have the Madhurya relationship, conjugal relationship. The whole 10th canto, there's plenty of descriptions. How is the gopis relating to Krishna as their lover, which is the most intimate of all relationships. So here we're speaking about spiritual identity. That is our final spiritual identity, will be revealed in due course of time. And then in that Raga Bhakti, just to give some idea, of course we are not at that stage, but we should know it is there. And so in this Raga Bhakti, then we follow a resident of Vrindavan. That may be a Sakha, that may be a Subal Sakha, or any other Sakha, or it may be a Gopi. We're taking them as our leader. In Goloka, there are different groups of gopis, groups of sakhas, and they have a group leader, and all of that. And our spiritual master will also be there in his spiritual form. When we arrive in Goloka, then we're serving under our spiritual master in his spiritual form, as a cowherd boy, as a gopi, whichever. So all these things are to be discovered, our spiritual identity. So we follow the guidance of a Brajabasi. So there was a discussion with the devotees. They asked Śrīla Prabhupāda, Shastra says one should follow one Brajabasi or Brijbasi, same thing. So which Brijbasi shall we follow? Well, that is quite puzzling. We know we should follow Brijpasi, but there's so many Brijpasi. We don't have any idea. We don't know what is our spiritual identity. We have no idea. We don't feel pulled in a certain direction either. It's all the same. Will I be is my spiritual form a gopi? Is it a cowherd boy? Or is it in parental love? Like the elderly cowherd man and woman, say, in parental affection? So which rasa I am in? It can be very puzzling. So they asked Śrīla Prabhupāda, so who shall we follow? Which Brijpasi shall we follow? Śrīla Prabhupāda turned around and said, I am said Brijpasi. How beautiful is that? Śrīla Prabhupāda said Brijpasi. He came from Braj. He came from Vrindavan and came to the West. He is at Brijpasi and he is in the spiritual world. And we shall follow him in the spiritual world. He is at Brijpasi to follow. How beautiful is that? Okay. That is the cream of the cream. I say that again. Chaitanya Charitamrita, if one wants to know more about it, Adi Lila chapter 4, the confidential reasons of Lord Chaitanya's appearance. All about Raga Nuga Bhakti. Spontaneous, loving, devotional service, which is a cream of the cream. Before spontaneous, loving, devotional service, where we are now, we are executing our bhakti according to rules and regulations and principles, which is great, of course. We have to. Otherwise, how we ever get purified of our sinful tendencies? So at this point, any questions or comments? Rituan Prabhu, are you reading Circle of Friends? Have you started?
No, Prabhu, I haven't yet started,
Oh,
but
no.
we'll be starting soon.
You
Yeah.
don't know what you're missing.
No, yeah, I'll start very soon.
Once you start, if you want to get a taste,
Yeah.
jump directly to the chapter of Kaliya.
Okay.
Getting punished, because there are more details, at least for me, I read that there are more details than I have ever read in Krishna book or 10th canto. I don't know where these details are all coming from. It's so nicely composed, that book. It gives reference, it gives quotes to some Purana or to the Bhagavatam. Everything is referenced. Is nothing invented. Everything is found somewhere. Sometimes I think, why is all this information kind of all over the place, in different places? Can it be not together in one place?
One single place.
Well said. Circle of Friends, it is together in one place.
I plan to start this weekend maybe. Like I was reading another book, and then I've almost finished it, and then I'll start
Which
this
book
weekend.
is that?
That's a book. That's a nice book by Penguin Publishers. It's called Ask a Monk. Basically, it's like a question answer book. It's written by Nityananda Charan Das, who is from, I think, is from Chowpatty, ISKCON. So it's nice, small questions and answers, which generally arise in the minds of general people, even also devotees. Like about karma, not just starting with karma, reincarnation, basic things, and then going deeper in the sense like why did people ask questions, why did Lord Ram leave Sita Devi? So all these questions and answers are given there. So it's also very important. Like if you read these books, I was feeling if I read these book, I would be able to answer questions which other people might ask. Because these questions come in the mind of even the devotees. Like why did Lord Ram kill Bali, the monkey, from behind a tree? Not why didn't he just challenge Bali? So these were questions nicely explained by this Prabhu.
Very nice. Of course, these questions are all answered in the Bhagavatam, in the
Yeah,
Ramayana, but
yeah. So again,
that
like,
is a lot to
all in
read.
one
That's a
place.
lot to
Yeah,
read, the Bhagavatam
yeah,
and the Ramayana, right?
all in one place.
No, that's a shortcut. Ask a monk.
Yeah.
Very good, very good. So,
Yeah.
any question tonight?
No, Prabhuji nicely explained, like as you mentioned, about the different stages of realization, starting with Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagavan, who is the supreme, who is the, I mean, realizing the supreme personality of Godhead in the form of Krishna in Braja is the highest.
Yes.
And you mentioned about Raganuga Bhakti and the different relationships. So yeah, and about the cream of Bhakti, that is our relationship in the four mellows, in one of the four mellows,
Yes.
and that has been explained by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also. Thank you, Hare Krishna.
Have you ever read Chaitanya Charitamrita Adi Lila chapter 4?
Yes, Prabhuji, I have read Chaitanya Charitamrita, the whole of it. I have been able to read, but definitely everything is not in my mind because I tend to forget, so I need to read again and again and again.
Well,
Yeah, the
interesting.
three, as you mentioned, the reasons for the appearance of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, it has been categorized as the principal reason and the subordinate reason. Of the principal reason, there are three, which actually basically Krishna wanted to taste. It's basically a personal reason for which Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, I mean, he appeared as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and the subordinate was as because he wanted to spread the holy name, Yuga Dharma, and all these things were orchestrated by Advaita Acharya Prabhu, calling him to deliver the people of this world. Yeah, Hare Krishna.
Well, there's a very interesting thing. We may have read this chapter, Adi Lila 4, and we haven't been really touched by it. We are only touched by it when we hear the description of Raganuga Bhakti, when we are ready for that type of bhakti, when we have some greed, when we are attracted, then what we have been reading previously and just not really understood much or theoretically just accepted, suddenly it becomes very practical, it becomes very lively and becomes something very different. All our eyes are opened suddenly. So that is also happening. But that happens in due course of time. Just like a young child, he may hear of boys and girls so falling in love. He cannot understand a thing. But as soon as he reaches the age of puberty, immediately he can feel that love, not just understand it theoretically. Suddenly his whole perception becomes something very different. Suddenly he understands, what is it? Love between male and female. But before puberty, he cannot even imagine. So same with this understanding of the higher stages of bhakti, or let's say, put the name on it, Raganuga Bhakti. So once we are ready for spontaneous loving devotional service, when we have been sufficiently purified by the following the anartha nivritti path and so on, and by chanting for so many years, and the heart gets purified, and our material conception falls away more and more and more, and suddenly we become eligible for spontaneous loving service to Krishna under Brij Basi. Then we can pray, what Brij Basi? Who shall I follow? And then all that information will come to us, and association of like-minded devotees will come to us suddenly from nowhere. So that is all Krishna's arrangement. Okay, Amit, any questions?
No questions, Prabhu, but I think that the verse we talked about tonight is very nice. When you look at everybody, from not from a different material perception. You feel it's quite healing. You feel quite straight away. You feel quite
Yeah.
Like, like you wish, it kind of brings you back into a transcendental kind of plane, and you start feeling much better straight away.
It's very liberating.
Liberating, maybe
Yes,
that's the
to
word.
understand all these living entities in their various different forms. They're all spirit souls. Sama Sarveshu Bhuteshu.
It's
Sama
very similar to
Sarveshu Bhuteshu. Right? Bhagavad Gītā, 1865. I think so. Sama Sarveshu Bhuteshu. An equal vision, then we develop a vision. Not anymore of higher and lower and animal and plant and all these distinctions are all falling away because we have a spiritual vision. We talked the other week of family attachment and these kind of things. With a spiritual vision, we value the neighbor's children. We understand these are also spirit souls, and our own children we see as spirit souls. So we're developing actually affection for every living entity. Śrīla Prabhupāda had affection for every living entity. He had his own family, but he had affection for every living entity. We have to develop affection for all. Not only humanitarian, for all human beings. That is perhaps in the material world the highest developed vision, but beyond humanitarian. Why only human? Humanitarian means human. We want the good for all human beings. What about the animals?
রেড দাগটা হচ্ছে 98.5 98.7 যেটা তোমার
Say it again.
Sorry, Prabhu, it got unmuted. I was just speaking to Amrita Radhe. Sorry.
Okay. We spoke about this Brahma Buddha Prasanatma. Is that no? It's not 65. Of course, it's not. 65 is Manmana Bhavamat Bhakti. Okay. So yes, very liberating, Amit. That was a very nice comment of seeing from a higher perspective. Who everybody is, whose everybody's real identity is. Anything more, Amit?
No, Prabhu, it's funny because I thought I had a verse ready, which I was going to, if you weren't going to talk about this one, but I was going to look at 5:18 today.
Next time.
Which is very similar. No, but it's very similar because that one states that, that a learned and humble sage sees all beings equally, including a Brahmin, a cow, an elephant, a dog, and a dog eater.
Yes.
So it's very similar.
Funny you saying that. When I mentioned that Sama Sarve to Bhusheshu, Brahma Buddha Prasanatma, the liberated platform, and I thought of that verse also, Chaitanya.
Oh, wow.
But exactly that, because that verse says the same thing, equal vision. A humble and sage. Humble and sage. This equal vision can only be achieved if one has a certain degree of humility. If one is proud, well, I'm such a big man, I'm the crown of creation, then how can someone have an equal vision? It's not possible. So therefore the humble and a wise man, he sees with equal vision. A dog eater, a cow, elephant. There's a beautiful picture in the old Bhagavad Gītā. In each there is a dog eater, which is considered socially a very low position. But there is an elephant, a cow, the Brahmin, and in the heart of each of them there is a four-handed Vishnumurti. Is that what we see? We see Krishna in the heart of all living entities. Therefore, if we have that vision, we respecting every living entity. That's a real vision. Okay, Amit, anything else?
No, Prabhu, that's everything.
Vijay, what about you?
No, but just reading about reading about the personalities. The mentioned last week. The
Personalities? Say more.
Kambakalata, Sudevi,
Hmm.
Suklita, Lalita.
You're reading about the gopis.
Yeah, and then when I was looking, the funny thing, in Vrindavan, the Goswamis, they used to go through the streets, and they were looking for. Well, people say they want to see Krishna, but they never mentioned that. They were looking for Radhe, and they used to sing something. I forgot what they sang. They I think they used to.
Radhe Racha Devi Ge Jalalite.
Yeah, that's
Hey
it. Yeah,
Radhe, where are you? Where are you?
yeah, that's it. Yeah, I think Heradi Raja Devaki Chalalite. Is it Na Nanda Suno Kotaha?
Yes.
So, yeah, so they're looking for the associates of Radharani as well. They used to go down, look in the streets singing this, and they wanted to. People thought they were like so intoxicated, looking for these associates of
This
Radharani.
is Vaishnava.
Yeah,
Not
yeah.
like, oh, last night I had a rendezvous with Krishna. A devotee will never say that. He said,
No,
Where is
no.
Krishna? Where is Krishna? Where is Krishna?
Yeah, so they were looking for these because I was interested in the personalities because they maybe have different, slightly different.
Which book are you reading?
The Charita Chamrita, that book.
Chaitanya Charitamrita.
Yeah, Chamrita, yeah.
That's very advanced reading, all about Lord Chaitanya. Beautiful, beautiful scripture. Beautiful. Do read the beginning. Do read the beginning where the position of Lord Chaitanya is established, just to get it clear who is Lord Chaitanya. So important. It sets groundwork. Later on, there are all kinds of pastimes. It's difficult to understand if we don't have done the groundwork. Adi Lila.
Adi Lila. Is that chapter 4, did you say? Chapter 4?
That is about Raganuga Bhakti, yes.
Raganuga Bhakti.
Adi 4.
Okay.
Okay, here we stop. Thank you very much. We'll see you on Saturday. Hopefully.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.